On a cold Greenwich morning, rain clung to the brick walls, and a single ivy leaf struggled to remain, trembling yet alive. Inside a small, quiet apartment, a young artist named Johnsy lay weak and still, her eyes fixed endlessly on the world beyond her window. Illness had drained her body and spirit, and with every shallow breath, hope felt more distant than the falling rain outside. Her closest friend, Sue, watched in silence, fear tightening her chest as she sensed Johnsy slowly losing the will to fight. Johnsy believed her life was bound to the ivy leaves outside, counting each one as though it marked the time she had left. And as the storm deepened and the leaves continued to fall, Sue wondered whether hope itself could survive the night. In early winter, Greenwich Village rested in quiet peace, its narrow streets calm beneath pale skies and drifting cold air. In those days, Sue and Johnsy laughed freely, painting side by side, their joy as bright as the colors on their canvas. Their small, shared apartment overflowed with unfinished sketches, hopeful ideas, and dreams that felt limitless and alive. Johnsy painted near the window then, healthy and smiling, sunlight warming her face as her brush moved with confidence. But the cold wind returned, whispering through the streets, and Johnsy's first cough broke the gentle rhythm of their days. Soon after, the doctor examined her in silence, his serious expression revealing that something fragile had begun to change. The doctor spoke quietly to Sue, choosing his words with care, explaining that Johnsy's strength now depended as much on hope as on treatment. Sue listened in silence, fear tightening her chest as she struggled to accept what his gentle voice was truly saying. When the doctor finally left, shaking his head, the weight of uncertainty lingered in the room like the cold outside. Johnsy slowly turned her face toward the window, her eyes drifting back to the ivy-covered wall she could not stop watching. Outside, the ivy leaves began to fall gently, one by one, carried away by the quiet breath of winter. As each leaf dropped, Johnsy began counting again, believing that when the last leaf fell, her own life would fade with it. Sue gently asked Johnsy what she was counting, her voice low and careful, already sensing the fear hidden behind the question. Johnsy spoke slowly, explaining that with every ivy leaf that fell, her own life was fading, convinced that when the last leaf dropped, she would too. Sue rejected the idea fiercely, raising her voice for the first time, trying to break the belief with reason, love, and desperate strength she did not know she had. But Johnsy closed her eyes, worn down and hopeless, no longer arguing, as if she had already accepted the ending she feared. That night, a violent storm began, rain beating against the windows while cold winds roared through the darkened streets without mercy. In the relentless storm, the ivy leaves fell one by one, tearing away in silence, and for a long moment, it felt as if hope itself had been carried off into the darkness. Only a few ivy leaves remained on the wall now, clinging weakly as winter tightened its grip, and Johnsy watched in complete silence, her eyes fixed on the wall, her thoughts heavy and unmoving. Beside her, Sue prayed quietly, holding her breath between whispered words, hoping for strength when hope itself felt fragile. Downstairs, in a dim and cluttered room, lived Behrman, an old artist hardened by years of struggle, disappointment, and unfulfilled dreams. Again and again, he complained bitterly that he had never painted his masterpiece, mocking his own ambitions while hiding a deeper longing within. When Sue explained Johnsy's belief about the last leaf, she spoke slowly and carefully, her voice trembling as she described how a life had become tied to a single falling leaf. At first, Behrman laughed bitterly, shaking his head and dismissing the idea as foolish, dangerous, and born of despair. But when Sue finally broke down crying, her fear spilling out in broken words and silent tears, the room grew still. Behrman's laughter faded, and his hardened face softened, understanding dawning as he quietly grasped what was truly at stake. Outside, the storm worsened, wind screaming through the streets as rain lashed against brick and glass without mercy. Without speaking, Behrman reached for his coat, pulling it on slowly, his movements deliberate, his decision now firmly made. He stepped into the cold rain, the door closing behind him as the storm swallowed his figure in darkness. A ladder was soon placed carefully against the brick wall beneath the ivy vine, its wooden rungs slick and unsteady. Behrman climbed slowly, gripping each rung with care, fighting wind and rain as his breath grew heavier. High above the ground, his trembling hand lifted the brush and touched the wall at last. And as rain mixed with paint, Behrman worked on in silence, shaping a leaf that would stand firm when all others fell. High above the ground, Behrman's hands began to shiver, stiff with cold and soaked by the relentless rain. Suddenly, thunder struck the sky, its violent roar echoing through the stormy night. Still, Behrman finished the leaf, adding the final strokes with quiet determination and unwavering resolve. When he climbed down the ladder, his strength gave way, and he collapsed slightly, exhausted and spent. By morning, the storm had passed, and gentle light slowly filled the street, revealing calm skies, wet walls, and a silence that felt like breath after struggle. Inside the room, Johnsy slowly woke from sleep, unaware of what the night had taken. She turned her head toward the window, drawn once more to the ivy-covered wall outside. The leaf was still there, holding firm against the brick, exactly as it had been before. The wind blew again, brushing past the wall as if testing its strength. But the leaf did not move, standing steady and unbroken, as if refusing to let hope fall. Johnsy looked confused, her eyes searching the window again and again, unsure of what she was seeing or what it meant. As the hours passed quietly, the room filled with changing light, morning turning slowly toward afternoon, yet the leaf remained where it was, still clinging to the wall, unmoved by time or wind. The leaf refused to fall, standing as silently as the room itself. Gradually, hope returned to Johnsy's eyes, fragile at first, cautious and uncertain, then gently growing stronger with every passing moment. For the first time in many days, she asked for food, her voice soft, hesitant, but unmistakably alive. When the doctor visited again, he examined her carefully, noticing the subtle changes in her breathing, her color, and her will to live. A small, knowing smile crossed his face, calm and reassuring, as relief slowly settled into the room. Johnsy was safe now, her strength returning not all at once, but quietly, breath by breath. Sue hugged her tightly, holding her longer than before, as fear finally loosened its grip and exhaustion gave way to relief. After the embrace, Sue asked softly about Behrman, the question lingering between them, one she had been avoiding since the storm. The doctor's expression turned serious, and for a moment, he said nothing at all. Then he explained that Behrman had fallen ill after that terrible night, exposed to the cold and rain for hours. In Behrman's empty room, his absence lingered among unfinished canvases, silent brushes, and a life left behind. Outside, the wet ladder and scattered paint tools stood as quiet proof of the work done in silence. And at last, with gentle honesty and a trembling voice, Sue told Johnsy the truth, that Behrman had given his life so she could keep hers, and that the leaf she believed in had been painted with sacrifice. Johnsy sat quietly, the truth settling deep within her, words no longer needed as understanding finally took hold. Tears rolled down her face, not from fear, but from gratitude for a kindness she could never repay. She looked again at the leaf on the wall, seeing it now not as fate, but as courage, sacrifice, and a life given so another could continue. Outside, the ladder and paint stood in silence, offering proof that hope had been built by human hands in the darkest night. In Behrman's empty room, his unfinished canvas waited, untouched, its purpose finally understood. Because Behrman never painted his masterpiece on canvas, he painted it on a wall, and it saved a life.